These reductions would represent 50% of the total growth in senior military and civilian positions since 2000. That's the minimum. Fourth, there are great benefits to be gained in cost and efficiency from taking advantage of economies of scale. The problem is that too many parts of the department, especially in the information technology arena, cling to separate infrastructure and processes. All of our bases, operational headquarters, and defense agencies have their own IT infrastructures, processes, and applicationware. This decentralization approach results in large cumulative costs and a patchwork of capabilities that create cyber vulnerabilities and limit our ability to capitalize on the promise of information technology. Therefore, I'm directing an effort to consolidate these assets to take advantage of the department's significant economies of scale, thereby creating savings in acquisition, sustainment, and manpower costs. This action will allow the increased use by the department of common functions and improve our ability to defend defense networks against growing cyber threats. Fifth, this department is awash in taskings for reports and studies. In 1970, the Pentagon produced a total of 37 reports for the Congress, a number that topped off at more than 700 reports in last year's cycle. Consider that as of 2009, the department had nearly 1,000 contractors working in some capacity producing reports for the Congress, of which more than 200 were working full-time. Reports directed by the Congress are effectively beyond our control. But a good number of these reports are also internally generated, including by my own office. At this time, nobody knows what they cost, and thus there is little basis to determine whether the value gained is worth the considerable time and resources expended. Therefore, I've directed that starting now, we'll freeze the overall number of DoD-required oversight reports. We'll immediately cut the dollars allocated to advisory studies by 25%. And henceforth, we will publish the actual cost of the preparation of each report and study prepared by DoD in the front of each document. By October 1st, we will conduct a comprehensive review of all oversight reports and use the results to reduce the volume generated internally. In addition, we will engage the Congress on ways to meet their needs while working together to reduce the number of reports. Sixth, the department has set up numerous outside boards and commissions, 65 in the case of OSD alone, to oversee our activities and provide independent advice. Some of these entities provide real value, others less so. Even if their members are unpaid, these bodies still require substantial support, $75 million for OSD alone, in the form of staff and indirect costs. Therefore, I'm ordering a review of all outside boards and commissions for the purpose of eliminating those that are no longer needed, focusing the efforts of those that continue to be relevant, and cutting the overall funding available for studies tasked by the remaining boards and commissions by 25% in FY11. Seventh, it's no great secret that since September 11th, the U.S. government has seen a proliferation in new intelligence organizations and operations. This is partly due to the war on terrorism and partly due to massive intelligence requirements associated with fighting two wars. Even so, in the defense arena, large and well-staffed intelligence structures now exist in the services, the defense agencies, the combatant commands, and in the war theaters. To some extent, we're still struggling to find the right balance between the value of centralizing intelligence functions versus distributing or embedding them closer to the front. Nonetheless, we should not flinch from eliminating unnecessary redundancy and directing more resources to places where they are needed, such as certain specialties in short supply and theater. I'm thus directing an immediate 10% reduction in funding for intelligence, advisory, and assistance contracts, and freezing the number of senior executive positions in defense intelligence organizations. We must also take further steps to end needless duplication within the department's intelligence community. Accordingly, I've directed a zero-based review of the department's intelligence missions, organizations, relationships, and contracts to be completed by November 1st. While these steps will only apply to the Department of Defense intelligence organizations, the new Director of National Intelligence, Jim Clapper, has indicated to me an interest in pursuing a parallel and coordinated effort using the same business rules for the national intelligence organizations.